Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. I'm outside right now, just walking the dog, as you can see. And today's gonna be good. We're going to a 12:30 service, and then from there, we're gonna go to what's known as the Oyster Bay Festival here in New York. So, should be cool. Should be interesting. All right. Actually, pretty cold. I can see my breath. Oh no, actually you can't now, but when I first started it was pretty cold. It's getting cold, and I'm not really a fan of winter. But, what are you gonna do? This is what happens when you live in New York. You gotta deal with the four seasons. Dropping everybody off because there's no parking. Finally made it to Irving Plaza. Now to find parking in the city, which is pretty difficult at times, but not impossible. So it wasn't that bad. Got parking, and I'm walking, meeting up with everybody else. It is Sunday, so most of the places, like the street parking, you can park.
And if you're from Australia, you'd say, dig a little deeper. I think anything good on this life is ever found at the surface. Relationships, they're pretty shallow unless you decide to invest in people. Churches are shallow unless you decide to invest and to dig a little deeper and actually put a little bit of heart and soul into what you're doing. In your relationship with Jesus, it is actually possible to be around the things of God but not actually know God. It is actually possible to get by just floating on the service and checking off the Christian box on your Facebook profile and actually not be a follower of Jesus. Jesus is trying to let people know those who come and get this, they're going to find exactly what they are looking for. My question for you is, are you digging a little bit deeper in this faith? I don't know who created Legos, Kane, but I know this: I am not friends with them, and I never would be, because on the outside, this box of Legos, what do you see? I see a jet. This is amazing. I went to go buy this with my son recently, and little did I know when we got home, to actually assemble anything that Lego has ever made, you need a degree from Lego University. Apparently, whoever is in charge of Legos thinks that you have no life, and you have 97 hours to assemble something that is so complex and ridiculous that it's just baffling. I remember sitting there with my son, and the pressure is on when you're a dad. Like, I'm sitting there, and my son's like, blowing his hair out of his eyes, his glasses are fogging up, I can feel him judging me. I'm like, son, I don't know how to construct this at all, bro. Get off my back. And I'm sitting there getting frustrated and annoyed. I'm like, I did not sign up for this. The box showed me a fighter jet. This looks like a disaster, a bizarre, just gathering of pieces that make no sense. And unless I know somebody in the Lego system, this ain't ever gonna get built. And my son says to me, Dad, let's just go play video games. I'm like, that's my boy. The only way that this was ever happening is if I knew somebody who knew more than me. And if I did, they would have came over, and not only would I have got a fighter jet, but I came to find out there's 4 or 5 different options. This, ladies and gentlemen, as ridiculous as it might seem, what if I told you that some of you have walked away from aspects of your faith, that God had bigger plans than you could ever imagine? Maybe it was a relationship, maybe it was the spot you're sitting in right now where you just gave up up and ran because you didn't want to sit there long enough and go call somebody who not only knows how to construct a Lego ship, but he actually created the concept. Christian Country Club, this is not a cool little religious thing that we do. To follow Jesus, the cost is high, but the supernatural blessing is even greater. So if Jesus said, try to be as least sacrilegious as you can, right? If Jesus said, if you want to follow me, you die to yourself and pick up my cross daily, that would mean that there is a you before the cross, and apparently there is a you after the cross. The problem is, people don't understand that the cross is a you filter. So you weren't really supposed to come through the cross. You died here. So when you try to be a Christian and have your rights and your identity and live your truth and have your opinion, here's the problem. Dead people don't have opinions. So what we get in America is a lot of people like, I'm a Christian, but this is how I feel, and this is how I was born, and this is how I think I should live, not understanding that this cross represents a new death and a new life. So when you come through this cross, you pick up a new identity, new feelings, a new agenda, new orders from heaven. It's very different. So when you start trying to figure out where do you fit in this picture, you don't. Daily, you are reminded to die to who you want to be at times and pick up who God has called you to be. So this cross, it saved your life, but it also filtered you out so you could know more about who He is. Luke, and Jesus is real clear. Look at what He says. He shows us once and for all that it's really possible to be successful without Him. He says, what is it good for somebody in Manhattan to have 4 jobs, to have a 401k, to have a 3-piece suit, to drive a Bentley, to look like they have it all together, gain the whole world, and yet lose or forfeit their very soul? As a Christian, you are allowed, when you pick up your cross daily, to lay down the world's version of success and just focus on God's version of success, which is making sure other people are hearing the good news of the gospel. And this is for the world's version of success: money, power, respect. God's economy, His version of success: serving other people. Woo! Rock star. Nobody laughed there. It's funny because the opposite actually happens. If you go out here and you want to be successful in New York City, so I'm going to get some money, I'm going to get some power, I'm going to get some respect. Good luck with that. You might even be able to pull some of it off. But if you leave here and pick up the cross of Jesus Christ, your version of success is being faithful to the call of God and obeying everything He has asked you to do. So if you want to know if you're successful right now, I want to know whether you're obedient to the commands of God, because that is how we determine whether we are successful or not. He only hung out with 12 dudes for 90% of his time on planet Earth, and out of those 12, one of them didn't even make it. He was a bad Connect group leader. He had such bad public image that he was murdered. But yet He is the most, to this day, whether you believe He is the Messiah or not, the most recognized name, the most iconic figure, had the biggest influence of anybody in our world. You're not going to go to Barnes & Nobles and see a book, How to Lead Like Jesus. No, because our world doesn't want to see that. We want to gauge things by numbers. God said, I don't care about those numbers. I'm not going to have you sit up in heaven and I'm going to sit there and go over your bank account and how cool you were and how many likes you got. God's going to say, welcome, my good and faithful servant, not superstar. It's better to be broke and right than rich and wrong. I say that out of a conversation I have with a friend who is he works in street pharmaceuticals. His issue was, if I carry the cross, I can't do what I do for a living and I make a lot of money. And I said, yeah, that's true. He's, what do I do? I said, I can't make this decision for you. I know that I believe it's better to be dead broke in the world's eyes, but right in God's eyes, than it is to be where you sit today, which is rich and dead wrong. He said, well, what if I lay it down and God doesn't come through? I know He's going to come through, because the point is you're thinking about money and new jobs, but the reality is the moment you let go of the life that's killing you and you experience the peace of God, you can actually live on this earth without Him doing one more thing because He's that good. But yet we have people who don't get that this life is just going to be uncomfortable. So people drop the call. I'd even go as far to tell you this. I think comfort could be the #1 killer in the Christian community. There's a reason why Jesus wanted us to be, think about it, our discomfort with our sinful state is why we needed Jesus in the first place. So make sure that stirring up that discomfort, I often say discomfort leads to a desperation that is linked to your destiny. There's something that comes out of not being comfortable that causes desperation in people.
Oyster bait time. Wow.
De Papito Boy. Here we go, Johnny. Ahí sale Johnny bailando y todo. Yeah, estás gritando y bravo, bravo, ese es mi sobrino. Right, Johnny. Buy a house?
Nope.
Why not?
It's auction.
It doesn't matter, but you don't want to buy a house?
I do, but
Yeah, look at this.
I don't even think they allow you to see, like,
Yeah, you can
inspect
see
it.
it.